Welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Gardens of the Night. This is a 2008 film. Again, I always say again a lot. I realize that, and I never stop. But I found this one from that same guy who recommended some of the other ones. Like Me was one, White Rabbit was the other. I'm finishing the trio. This one's Gardens of the Night. So far, 0 for 2 for me. Hopefully, this one's a little bit better. Hour and 50 minutes long. From 2008. It stars Gillian, John Malkovich are in it. Tom Arnold's also in it. Harold Perrineau from Lost, and from Jeremy Sisto is in it. So there's a lot of people in it. Again, older film, so you can find it on Freevee, Roku, Fossum, Peacock, Prime, and you can buy it on Amazon, I guess. Fossum, I tell you what, a little disappointed in that. The commercials in that were crazy long. It took an hour and a half movie. It took a long time to watch that movie. But let me tell you what this one's about. Oh, it's a drama. It's only listed as a drama. After being abducted as children and suffering years of abuse, a teenage boy and girl find themselves living on the street. So he says all three of these movies that I mentioned before, were all, I believe, hard to watch, and he labels them as bangers. So I don't know. Again, this is hopefully it. Ever since the algorithm changed on TikTok, he hasn't popped up again. I haven't liked or subscribed. I just go with what they give me. So anyway, let's see. Hopefully this is it, and I will let you know. Stick around. I'll be back. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of Gardens of the Night, and I'll agree on this point. Evan Peters just came up, so Evan Peters has a little cameo in this as well, and Kyle Gallner is also in it, very small role, and Shiloh, I forget his last name, not Shia LaBeouf, but whatever. A couple other people poked their heads in on this one, and I see John Malkovich, small role. Anyway, sorry, I know I'm going down a rabbit hole with who's in it because the credits are showing, but I'll agree with the guy who shared this with me, or shared this with everybody. This is a little bit harder to watch than the other two. The other two weren't as hard to watch as this one was. Not that it's you know, you don't really see anything, but the implied actions that are happening, right? So our main character, who's eventually played by Gillian Jacobs, or whatever her name is, if I say that right, she gets abducted at the age of 7. Yeah, Gillian Jacobs. Yeah, I got it right. You know, so that's the whole part around this, and it's by Tom Arnold. So if you're a fan of Tom Arnold, not after watching this, right? But you know, you can imagine they only take little girls and little boys for certain things, right? And so that's the whole part. It's like 50 minutes of what's going on there. Again, all implied. There's nothing visually to see, but still, I don't know. And so, you know, there's a couple of different things that stand out to me as we walk through this and talk about it, but we'll just get through the plot real quick. You know, that happens to her, and then it starts off with her, I don't know, in her mid-20s, or, you know, 18 to 20 years old, I'll say, as she's walking into a shelter. That's where she meets John Malkovich, and he starts asking her questions, and then we flash back and we spend 50 minutes on basically how she got up to that point. There's a lot of open holes, open-ended things that we don't know a lot about, but you know, it basically builds up her character and why she's homeless now in San Diego, and why she does the things that she does, right? And how that changes a person. Now, what I think is underplayed, I guess is the way to say it, is she is with a boy. He was also kidnapped by Tom Arnold, and there's a relationship there, obviously, because they're in this together, and they show the essence of a friendship, but I think they could have doubled down on that. I needed more to feel more of that connection, you know, and you know, they have, hey, they say to each other, hey, let's never leave each other alone again, you know what I mean? So it's foreshadowing what's going to come the rest of the film, but I didn't feel that emotional connection between the two, so I think that could have been a little bit better. But everything else kind of works. Like, you think about it, like the type of person she becomes from the childhood that she was raised in. You know, it starts in Wilmington, PA, which I didn't realize there was a Wilmington, PA. It's Wilmington Township. I don't know if that's real. Maybe they were just making it up. But and then she ends up in San Diego. And just watching all that and seeing the way they do things, like I said, hard to watch. Even like the beginning when they picked her up, like how that all worked. You know, so it's not a comfortable setting. It's a, I don't know, I think it's a good learning lesson for any parent or any other child. Like, just stay away from strangers, you know. And I thought she did a great job. I thought the little girl who played her did a good job. And then, you know, I don't know. I think it is a really well done film. I think there's some things that are missing that could have made it better, could have made me connect it a little bit more. And I do have questions, like they drive, I don't want, well, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it yet, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, it was about the struggle. But some of the holes is, okay, our guy from Lost, who I mentioned, I can't remember his name, and From. So that whole thing happens where he gets shot, and then he comes back again. I guess that was playing, but we don't understand why. Like, why did that all happen? So that's missing for me, anyway. And then the whole East Coast, West Coast, right? So did the family end up moving out to California? Because that's what it seemed like. At first I was like, oh, maybe they flew her back to PA to meet with her family. And that's great. But then you see the Christmas tree in the background with no snow on the ground. So I'm like, okay, they're in California. Like, is that what happened? Did they just drive her over to California? Or they're in the West Coast, in a warm weather state, I should say. So that, you know, I don't know. I know they started their own family again. They started up without her, and that causes her. Like, the ending makes sense, right? She's a changed person. You could see it in her father's eyes. Maybe a little bit in the mother's. Like, is this the still child we want? We already started this new family. So, and she's like the same way. She's like, this is not the family. Let me get out of here. And then we know they're going to Wonderland, which is great. We don't even need to see that. I applaud that ending. Just wanted to feel that connection between the two of them a little bit more. So, a couple of extra questions for you. I rambled on a little bit. Hopefully I kept it short enough for everybody. And this is helpful. 2008, so Gillian was actually 25 at the shooting of this. So, good information there. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.